This is an iPhone, but not just any iPhone. It's mine. Alright, two things. Sorry for the ring light, it's just gonna be there today, and we're trying ProRes Log on my new phone because I usually record on this, and that's clearly not gonna be possible today. So I've had this phone for a couple of years, and it's finally time to upgrade to the 15 Pro up there, and mostly because I heard that the 16 Pro is going to be bigger. Like, for some reason they're scaling up both the regular and Pro Max models of the 16 Pro, according to the rumors, and I hate that, honestly. I really don't like that they're doing that, so I just bit the bullet and got my upgrade through my carrier, and so here we are. This is my 13 Pro that I've had for a couple of years. It has served me well, and it has quite the history behind it. So back when I had an iPhone 11, I called the network I was on and got a crazy deal on this phone and a couple of others for my family. When it turns out that they had just been kind of scamming us with some sort of lease thing, it basically just charged us for nothing, so I called in and there's a history here. I'm trading this into Apple this time for the upgrade this time around, actually instead of the carrier. While I like collecting this stuff, I usually prefer when the product is old enough to not really be useful anymore. I'm fortunate enough that I can upgrade this, but this is for sure a powerful and usable phone right now, so I'd much rather it goes to someone who can get real use out of it rather than have it rot in a box somewhere. But yeah, I've had it for a while. I get pretty sentimental over this sort of stuff. A few days ago I had an emotional goodbye to an electric toothbrush. So I just want to go over what made this phone pretty great and pretty okay at times, and one final send-off before I ship it back to Apple because they're getting pretty mad at me. When the iPhone 12 originally got announced, I fell in love with the new form factor. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of jealous of those who had it, especially if they had the green color. On the 11, which is the one I got, it was more of a seafoam, but on the 12 it was that perfect mint color. The 11 was fine, but the screen was still an LCD, and it was basically just an iPhone XR2, which was fine, but certainly not ideal. It had thick bezels, the notch was huge, all that sort of stuff. The 12 actually reinvented a lot of stuff beyond the visible form factor changes, including adding OLED to the base model and a whole new MagSafe system just to make it feel a bit more high quality. The notch was still huge though, especially on the mini version, and the 12 Pro was basically just an iPhone 11 Pro 2 when it came to features. Side note though, I really liked how this generation let you use the same case for the iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro because the camera bumps were the same size at that point, and that was pretty nice. It's not the case today. But back to this sucker. When the iPhone 13 series originally got announced, it was pretty clearly another incremental upgrade over the 12. The colors were largely the same, but with a different blue on the Pro models, and they got rid of the green on the regular models, damn it! Since I've had phones, I've either had a green phone or a gold phone, starting with that plastic green iPhone 5C. They should do that again. Probably not with plastic, but they should still try. The iPhone 13 Pro had an improved and larger camera array, a new processor, a smaller notch, eSIM instead of a physical SIM slot, and that's it. Every other cool thing was from the 12. At the time, many were asking if it really deserved to be called the iPhone 13 series. People thought it was more of a 12S situation. But that meant it was still a pretty solid package, a worthy upgrade for those on the 2-year cycle. You get an OLED screen either way, a smaller notch, better cameras, MagSafe, a boxier form factor, I guess could be counted as a feature, and it also makes for a pretty solid paperweight. Yeah, this thing was heavy, like one of the heaviest iPhones ever, especially on the Max model. Without a case on, it's fine, manageable, but once you start to add a case, maybe a MagSafe wallet, things start to get a little sketchy. But nonetheless, pretty soon afterwards, I got my hands on this thing, and things went fine. Eventually. The iPhone 13 Pro had a weird launch. There were software patches immediately to fix some mysterious issue that they weren't telling us about. Some users were even experiencing extreme overheating. I'm users. For some reason, when I open certain apps, including the Google app, right here on the back of the phone where the processor is would get so hot, like ridiculously unintentional levels of heat. So after a few lengthy phone calls with Apple support, I eventually took it into an Apple store where they ran the diagnostic tools again that they only had in store at the time and couldn't find anything again, and told me to fully erase my phone, set it up from scratch, fully erase my phone again, and then set it up from a backup. So they wanted me to erase it, to get all my stuff off of it, set it up like it is now with the factory reset stuff on it, and then erase it again to restore from my iCloud backup. So that's how I lost all my two-factor authentication codes. The overheating persisted for a few weeks after, until a silent hotfix rolled out, and then I never experienced it again. Except when I tried to run AI on it locally, that wasn't a good idea. But after the initial road bumps, I kind of fell in love with this thing. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is something that I take for granted too much these days. This is Apple's first phone with a 120Hz display. It may not seem like a big deal when you're just thinking about it, but when you see the difference between 60 and 120, holy shit! I cannot look at a 60Hz screen anymore without my eyes immediately noticing the difference, translating it to a slight stuttering effect. I know how much I sound like a pretentious jerk when I say something like that, but it's real and pretty crazy to witness, especially because I didn't notice it before I upgraded. It really makes a difference in how snappy and responsive everything feels. I can't go back. This was actually my first stainless steel iPhone. It collects fingerprints pretty easily without a case on. But they just kind of wipe off in your pocket, unless you do it with your finger like I just did, then they just turn into lines. The stainless steel feels sturdy and won't slip out of your hands, but again, it gets pretty heavy. Partially also because of the battery in this thing. This battery was incredible after I got past the overheating stuff. I was honestly blown away that an iPhone of all things could last all day, every single day. My 11 was on its last legs in that department, so when I upgraded, it was a weight off my shoulders to never need to worry about charging up halfway through the day, ever again. For the most part. I mean, there were a couple days there, but it's pretty good. So that's basically my history with this thing. The years after that were pretty uneventful. It was just using it like you use a phone, putting stuff on it, doing all sorts of stuff with it. I had all of my school notes on this for a while, and it carried me from my last couple of years of high school to my first couple of years of college, which made it a pretty solid device for me. There's a lot of memories attached to this, and I'm honestly a little sad to see it go, but I do think it has to go. Mostly because of this thing! I hate this now! This is Lightning. This is the second to last iPhone series to use Lightning. One of the main reasons I'm upgrading is because the 15 up there, the thing that's recording this through ProRes log, has USB-C, and USB 3 speed USB-C, which means that I'm filming directly onto an external drive right now, which this thing just couldn't do. It's just bad. And it shouldn't have been on the iPhone at this point, and it shouldn't have kept being on the iPhone until the European Union made them take it off. So I'm not exactly crying about not needing Lightning anymore, because even my AirPods now have USB-C. Everything has USB-C, except for stuff that I haven't upgraded, because who needs to upgrade their Apple TV remote? Whatever. I need to charge this thing once every couple of months? It's fine. I don't need the USB-C version, but still, Apple's very clearly phasing out Lightning. Finally. Which is why I'm mostly upgrading here. Oh, calendar opened. But now that I've kind of gotten all the sentimental stuff out of the way, I'm going to kind of ad-lib this portion of the video because I want to talk about some stuff that I did with this phone over the years, starting with MagSafe. So MagSafe was kind of a huge thing at this point. Apple kind of finally knew what they were doing past the 12 series, and they had a bunch of cases and wallets and chargers and all that kind of stuff available at launch. So I have here a few official ones, minus the green one I think is a bit of a knockoff. And then there's stuff like the Belkin phone mount that I will go grab real quick because I forgot to. The Belkin phone mount, and there's another one that goes on a display that's just huge, but it's currently trapped somewhere that I can't reach. So yeah, I'm moving out, by the way. So yeah, one of the cool things about this series for me was the fact that everything was kind of interlocking. That animation's still so fun to me. Yeah, all these cases and stuff could kind of snap together with like the wallet. Everything was connected, and even when it seemed like things weren't gonna work sometimes, they did. Like this is still crazy. Sorry, you kind of have to peel your phone out of these cases sometimes. This Belkin laptop phone mount was when continuity camera was established, where you could use your phone camera as your Mac's camera. So if I snap it here, it becomes not only a phone stand with this little ring thing where you can just set it down like that, but it also becomes a little MacBook stand where, believe it or not, this functions. It's a little tiny ledge that just kind of hangs off a MacBook like this, and then it uses the camera. You can go vertical, you can go the other sideways, and then it just kind of uses the camera and wirelessly connects. It's a bit of a weird system that they've built here, especially since this MagSafe is now Qi 2. They redid the wireless charging standard to include this exact magnet array. Apple kind of just said, yeah, sure, make it the standard, which is very out of the ordinary. But yeah, I am going to be a bit sad to see this go, especially since when you turn in an iPhone, you don't turn in the wallet or the case or even the box, you just turn in the phone itself. So what the hell am I supposed to do with these? Stuff like the MagSafe wallet was actually extremely useful for me, and I get to keep it because the iPhone 15 has MagSafe as well, but I love not needing to like carry a wallet on me. It's just either I have a digital pass on my phone or the physical card in here. Easy peasy. And if I have more than 3 cards, I just kind of cry about it. But enough about these. I should not have done that. We're back to this phone to give it one final send-off. I am going to miss this because it was such a good phone. The whole experience, I'd say, was good. Beyond the heaviness of it, which I'm glad they finally lightened up a bit for the 15 series, I am happy for what this did for me. I would give it a good review, and honestly, if you can find one of these for cheap, it is not a bad option. It is a good phone. So I guess that's all I really have to say. I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to be doing with this video, but it's Brady's Bits. You don't care. I'm basically just using this as a camera test anyway. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to go over. There's not really much special in the UI here. I mean, beyond a couple of like exclusive wallpapers that are actually just straight up gone now because they got rid of the custom ones for the phones. Like usually it's down here, but they straight up got rid of the custom wallpaper for this series of phones when they upgraded them to iOS 16, which is sad because I honestly really loved the wallpaper for this series. I had it as my wallpaper for a while. But yeah, I'm very happy for everything this phone did for me throughout the end of high school, graduation, a couple of years of college. It's been there, so thank you. This serves as its final goodbye. I'm not gonna cry.